See how this orange sprocket has taken off like a rocket. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 211th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today, we've got Mr. Peter Caputa. He is the VP of Sales and has helped launch the partner program at HubSpot. And their icon, their logo is this orange sprocket. And that's what I was referring to there in the intro. But if you missed our previous interview, it was with Martin Shervington. Head over to thesaleswhisperer.com/session 210. Martin is the only Google certified small business advisor in the UK, and there's only 34 in the world. Very smart guy. I've known him a little over a year. We met at a couple of conferences, Social Media Marketing World, at Infusionsoft's Icon. He met with me when I spoke at the InfusionCon, the Icon conference back in 2015. All these things start to run together. Very good guy, very smart guy. He shared a lot of very particular steps you can take around advertising, around identifying trends, how to leverage Facebook, how to leverage YouTube retargeting. I mean, things like that. So crazy good stuff. Next week, we've got Miss Tina Forsyth. I've known Tina as well for several years. Met her through the Infusionsoft community. Single mom, entrepreneur, motivated, getting stuff done. You'll be inspired by her story and what she's doing with this online business management. It's her own concept she's created and launched and is training people and getting them certified. And I'm actually working on my own certification model where you can become Sales Whisperer certified. And I'm working on my own network of vetted and trained and ethical, competent sales and marketing people. So hearing her story, like most of these interviews, I'm kind of greedy. Don't tell anybody. I interview people that interest me. I interview people that are doing things that I need to do better. And so, I just get this, front row seat to meet with smart people doing cool things. And so I had, like in most of my interviews, right, I had ulterior motives. Not only have I known Tina for years and I like her and she's a friend and she's smart, but hey, I'm looking to do something similar. So why not speak to smart people and then share what they share with the world? So be sure to tune into that coming up next. After her, we've got two more that I have pre-recorded. Paul Sokol, another guy I've known through the Infusionsoft world for many years. He has an electrical engineering, signal processing background. Very smart, very analytical, but very cool dude. Plays in a band. Loves craft beer. We always are drinking it. He launched his own gig now. He used to build all of the campaigns for Infusionsoft. So very smart, very analytical, but he's been behind the scenes for some big guys like Frank Kern and others. So he has seen what it takes to launch, multi-million-dollar launches. So, look for him coming up. That'll be episode 2013. And then Joshua Fechter, young guy up in the Bay Area, entrepreneur, and that'll be number 214. And after that, I'm actually considering some changes to the podcast. And I'm still mapping it out, got some ideas, toying around with some things. But when you listen to this, when this gets released on the 12th of September, I'll actually be at day one of an 8-day conference I'm attending for speakers, for communication, for launching your message out to a bigger, bolder audience in a more powerful way. So I'll be sharing some of those nuggets, and based on the lessons I learned there and take away and the aha moments from that, that'll shape how I reshape the new version of the Sales Podcast. So, hey, we always have to strive to get better, right? Jack Welch, former CEO of General Electric, he turned that company around, and he said, if the change outside your organization is greater than the change within, then the end is near. The worst thing you can do as an entrepreneur is sit on your butt, right, to be satisfied. It's easy to reach number one. It's hard as heck to stay there. So you have to constantly be looking around. You have to be disciplined enough to use what has worked and is working. Okay, you can't get bored with it just because you're looking for something new and you're chasing shiny objects. But along the lines, at the same time, you have to be looking at what's coming, what's new. A classic example is IBM no longer makes computers. Right? They sold to Lenovo, a Chinese company. And back in the day, the saying always was, nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. Now IBM doesn't make computers. How crazy is that? And McDonald's sells more chicken than Kentucky Fried Chicken. Right? They saw what was coming. They adapted. They overcame. They made the shift. You've got to do that in your own business. I'm doing it as well. Right? I don't have the formula to mad, crazy success other than work hard. Keep your eyes open. Keep your nose to the grindstone and smell the roses along the way. Right? So, again, stay tuned for that. And it'll be an exciting ride. You get to ride it right along with me. So without further ado, let's bring on Mr. Peter Caputa of HubSpot fame. Peter Caputa, the man with the plan from HubSpot headquarters, Cambridge, Massachusetts. We are looking for words of inspiration on sales and marketing automation, and you're just the man to deliver it, aren't you?
I'm going to do my best today.
Oh, don't cop out, man. Well, welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm glad you were brave enough, all through a little Twitter correspondence, to hop on and endure these 37 hours of the Sales Podcast, man. You got food and water coming in? You got it scheduled?
I'm actually sitting in my sunroom right now. It's a little hot. It's not air conditioned.
I mean, I recommend you bring in like massage therapists every 30 minutes or so, get the blood flowing, circulation. But this is like the Jerry Lewis telethon, man.
Well, that's right. All right, I'm ready. 37 hours. Let's do it.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks for taking some time. As I mentioned, online, I've been with HubSpot now almost 2 years. Into this quarter will be 2 years, and I'm still learning this beast of a program, and I mean beast in a good way. But for our friends, our listeners that may not know much about you, would you mind giving us a little thumbnail sketch of who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive down the rabbit hole?
I can do that. Yep. So I was an early employee of HubSpot. I was the 15th employee and 4th salesperson to join. I started our partner program for marketing agencies back in 2009. We work with agencies of all types to help them deliver stronger ROI to their clients. So we'll teach agencies how to use our entire platform to help their clients grow traffic, leads, and sales. So I've been doing that I did that for a while at HubSpot, built that out to the point where it's about 40% of our revenue. We went public a few years ago, been growing still ever since at a faster rate. This past year, I've taken on a new role doing a few things. Just like we built all-in-one marketing software, we're now building all-in-one sales software. So I've moved over to help grow that business, building out content because we're big into content. So I've been publishing a lot on our sales blog. We have about 100,000 subscribers. We get about 1 million monthly page views over there. So I've been contributing over there. And then I'm also working with sales consultants as well now to help them leverage our product to help their clients grow their business. So I'm just getting that started out.
Cool.
Program.
Well, if you would let me blog over there, you could get down to like 900,000 monthly page views.
We're trying to go the other way, Wes. But I think you're just being modest.
I thought it was like golf. Like the lower score was better. Okay.
No, I went higher on that number.
Okay. I'll delete that section. All right. Good thing of editing. All right. So you were the 15th employee. How were you so fortunate or insightful to jump on board? Because, that's a small company, 15 people. And it's like, is this thing really going to work? Did you know? Was it a crapshoot?
It was. It wasn't until years later that I realized how risky the move was, how there are many more safer bets out there. But at the time, I needed a paycheck. I had started a company of my own. We had built a software product. It helped companies market events online. It was kind of an all-in-one event marketing solution. And as I tried to grow that, I struggled. I had hired a sales coach along the way, and I learned how to sell the product. But then once I started, I was a one-man band for the most part on the business side, so I was selling and servicing. And so we just realized it wasn't going to be profitable anytime soon. Kind of ran out of runway. I bought a house, had a baby on the way, and my sales coach happened to be the father of Mark Roberge, who was the first VP of sales at HubSpot there. And so I started talking to Mark right even before they had a legitimate product. And then once they raised their Series A, Mark asked me if I wanted to join, and I hemmed and hawed a little bit. A few months later, I ended up taking the job. And at the time, again, it was just it was security because I needed a paycheck. But I was also just passionate about the space. I was already doing internet marketing stuff, and I believed in the mission from early on. It was pretty consistent in that we were going to try to build an integrated set of tools that helped mere marketing mortals, we call them, do internet marketing without needing a whole development and design team. So back then, that was mostly just an idea and a kernel of a product. Today, it's a pretty broad product, as you called it earlier. It's a beast of a product. So it does, I think, most of what you need when it comes to internet marketing.
Hey, I don't know if great minds think alike, but I know I am not the speechwriter for Melania Trump. I did not steal that mere mortals subtitle, but I did write a book on some sort of competitive software, and I do have that phrase in the subtitle. So
oh, really? So are you suggesting that we stole that phrase from Infusionsoft, like Melania Trump stole?
No, I'm saying I did. I'm saying great minds think alike. That's what I'm saying.
Got it. That's a much more magnanimous way of putting it. Yes.
I don't work for Infusionsoft. I just sell their stuff. So that's and I kick myself in the butt, man. I looked at HubSpot for 5 years before I bought it.
Okay.
So I am not a smart man. Okay. I'm just very stubborn.
What they call a late majority.
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer.
Maybe an early majority. Who knows?
Yeah.
Future isn't written yet.
Low intelligence, high energy. That's me. All right. So I make up for it with passion. How's that?
That works. That's an important component too.
So better late than never. So I want to thread the needle here, right? I want to talk about HubSpot, but I want to talk about the principles as well, because not everybody listening to this has HubSpot.
Sure.
But the principles are very universal, right? Have your personas, speak the language, be congruent, always have a call to action. Don't throw stuff out there just on a whim. So, can you walk us through
publish great content? Yeah, there's a lot of things that are universal. Certainly HubSpot didn't invent it all.
Yeah, and I'm listening to Mark's book right now too, and it's very good. But can you walk us through that kind of evolution at HubSpot? I think that would be insightful for our listeners, even if they don't have it, but how the company grew, because it's a tremendous success story. Because, y'all were founded about the same time as Infusionsoft, and you're much larger. You've gone public, thousands of partners versus several hundred at Infusionsoft. You're catering, and you're doing that, catering to what I would consider as a more upscale market, or at least businesses spending more money.
We're upstream. Our average sale price is quite a bit higher than Infusionsoft. Yep.
Yeah, so it kind of flies
we like to say we like to consider us spanning the market, but on average, our customers are larger and spend more with us.
Yeah. So it flies in the face a little bit of people say, oh, you need to dumb it down. You need to have super simple. You need to be the low-cost provider. And here you are really adding complexity. For lack of a better term, you do a lot. It replaces a lot of systems. And that is always the catch-22 in software, right? Do we do one thing and do it well? Or do we keep adding on features and then maybe lose the forest for the trees because of feature scope? So, how has HubSpot navigated that? Because I think our listeners that are entrepreneurs and running a business and looking to grow, it's kind of like In-N-Out. In-N-Out has stayed with hamburgers, right? But McDonald's now sells chicken nuggets and salads and gourmet coffee, or at least higher end coffee.
They're still flat, right?
Yeah. So how do you know? How do you know which way to grow a company?
Sure. I certainly didn't make all these decisions, but I was there for most of them.
Right.
And there was a few questions in there. I think one was talk about the evolution of inbound marketing to a certain degree. At least that's the first question I heard. And the second one is how did HubSpot get so broad? And I think they're both I can tell the story, and I think it answers both questions,
Okay.
if that's okay. But when we started, they had raised a few $1 million when I had joined. They had a product. I remember the 100th customer party, like in my second month or something like that. So we were pretty early on. For the most part, the product was simple. It was really focused in the beginning on helping customers grow their traffic. We basically had built a keyword research tool and munched it together with a modified version of .NET New content management. Everything has been rewritten now several times, so don't freak out by me saying that it's .NET New. It's not anymore. But it was basically a CMS and a keyword research tool with a blog in there. So what we would do is we go and we talk to people about, hey, here's a formula for growing your traffic. You do your keyword research, find great keywords. You then create blog content that's related to those keywords, optimize it in this way. And I won't go through the details there, but you get the idea. Put your keywords in the right spot and write good content and all that. And so early days, 2007-ish, nobody was doing that well. In fact, most companies were selling SEO as if it was magic. Like, you can't do it yourself. It's impossible. You got to hire us, pay us $1,000 a month. We'll do it for you. And then there was a lot of what used to be called and still called, I guess, black hat stuff, where it was like, we're just going to move keywords around on your existing content. So the key thing that we discovered first was that the more good content a company creates on their website, the more traffic they'll get. And so we just they pounded that into people's heads, and that's what we got, and we sold them on in the beginning. And of course, we made it easy. Or easier, or at least obvious, so they didn't have to hire somebody for $1,000 a month to do it. So I'd say that got us for our first maybe 1,000 customers. Along the way, we realized that wasn't going to be enough. A lot of our customers called us up and said, "Hey, now that I figured this out, I'm going to go use WordPress and do this. And it's also really not helping me generate revenue. So I might not even do it anymore." So we had churn rate in SaaS world, software service world. Like, you got to pay attention to your churn rate. If it gets too high, you'll never build a sustainable business. And so we realized that we needed to do more than just help them grow traffic. And we thought, all right, well, the next step is probably helping them generate leads. So that's when we built landing page tools, so that people could build landing pages. Along the way, we figured out we needed to help them design calls to action and put those on pages to drive people back to the landing pages. We needed to teach them how to build offers so that people would want to fill out those forms. And that worked really well. That got us to another few thousand customers. And in parallel, what was happening next was same thing. They were generating leads but didn't know what to do with them. And as you probably know, not every inbound lead is created equal. They're not all ready to buy. And therefore, companies were saying, hey, these leads aren't great. Some of them are good, but I think I know how to do lead generation now, and what I really need is a nurturing tool. And there were companies like Marketo, Infusionsoft, Pardot, Eloqua that were doing that. And so we actually had companies leaving HubSpot and going to some of those. And that's when we decided, all right, well, we're going to move into that space. So we acquired a company. We rebuilt the entire platform with marketing automation in it. And that was, I think in 2000, I want to say 11, 12. And that kind of completed the picture for the most part for our marketing product. And of course, we've added new capabilities, but those are the three big ones: the ones that help them grow traffic, ones that help them grow leads, ones that help them grow sales. So we didn't really figure it out. We figured out not always it was never too late, I guess, but we figured out when we got there. Right. But we started at the top of that funnel and then worked our way down, helping our customers generate leads and then sales from the marketing activity.
Very cool. So when did you start to bring on partners? Because that's always a question, how to grow. In a small business, maybe they don't have partners, maybe they have affiliates or joint venture type partners, but you're still giving up a chunk of your revenue. So when did that decision come about?
In 2009 is when I started working with partners. Actually, in 2008, we had a few that were kind of poking around, had an account themselves. But towards the end of 2009 is when I pitched to the executive team that we should start one. That got rejected twice, actually. But we didn't turn down deals. So I started working with agencies. They started bringing a few clients on board. And in a few months of effort, probably 6 to 9 months of effort, I was actually, as a rep, doing 2x of what our top reps were doing by working with all these agencies. So that's when I was asked one more time to put together a plan. I pitched it, and after still a bunch of hemming and hawing, we agreed to go public with it, and I was able to launch a program formally. So it was really what motivated us internally was that it could enable us to have people out there selling on our behalf, which would improve our sales productivity. And so it's still a higher productivity channel for us years later.
Right.
Not as much as it was in the beginning, but still very high. It's not 2x, but it's still good, still great.
When does a company know, or how do they know that they're ready for software like this? Because regardless of what I talk to them about, Entreport for $299 a month, Infusionsoft $379, HubSpot, $800 to $2,400 a month for the enterprise. People are always, they're like, am I ready? Is it too big? Is it too complex? And I just tell them my story. I mean, 8 years ago, I was a solopreneur, wasn't even incorporated yet, couldn't even take credit cards, had never built a website, had never heard of WordPress. Yeah. And I saw the vision of marketing automation. I plunked $5,000 down back then because that was the game.
Right.
And my business grew. So, but is there a better answer? I mean, how do people know they're ready?
So you can't beat free, right?
Can't be free what?
You can't beat free.
Oh, you can't beat free. Yeah, that's the old adage. And then you end up duct taping 87 different free tools together, and all you do is hop from one portal or dashboard to the other.
True. So, I wouldn't want to give up all-in-one for free. There's a lot of inefficiencies that come with having a bunch of different marketing and sales software that doesn't integrate. So we kind of got tired of answering this question to a certain degree. Bear with me for a second. I'm not going to be argumentative here. And we decided to do something about it, basically. The price point for HubSpot, we have basic, pro, and enterprise products. You can get started for about $300 a month with our basic product. It doesn't have marketing automation in it. And there's a few other things that it doesn't have that, of course, our pro and enterprise editions have. So most of our customers actually go with pro ultimately. But we realized that's a big investment for somebody who hasn't aggressively done internet marketing before. If you're a mid-market company, you've raised capital, or you've grown to a certain extent, you're going to start investing in your marketing, and literally $800 a month is nothing if you have a handful of salespeople or if you have a multi-million-dollar business. But when you're smaller and you got maybe a handful of people total and maybe $1 million of revenue or less, spending $100,000 a year on marketing software is a big expenditure. So recognizing that as a problem, about 2 years ago, we started building a set of free tools, and they actually weren't integrated then. They are now. And there's 3 tools that we built. What we did in order to decide what to make free, what we did is we looked at the things that have the most immediate value for a company, for our customers, with the least amount of effort. And so that first thing that we launched out there is our HubSpot Sales Free account. And it actually it hooks into Gmail or Outlook, whichever you use, and starts tracking when a recipient of your email opens their email. It's just literally like a clue that prospect or that buyer, that customer is interested, right? And that maybe they didn't write you back, but that they're interested and that you should probably follow up again. And so that's free. Then we decided, okay, well, how do we give away a little piece of the marketing product? And we have a product called Lead-In. And what Lead-In does is it hooks up with your existing website. And if you have forms on your website, it'll automatically start capturing where your leads come from. Do they come from a Google search or social media link or direct traffic? And it'll start tracking what each individual does on your website. So now not only do you have clues as to when people are opening your email, you also have clues to when people are coming back to your website and what pages they're viewing. So once again, really quick time to value, very little effort, if actually no effort really, for our customer and that's using those tools. And all these are free, by the way. We also realized that not everybody has forms on their website or calls to action on their website, and that's also hard. So we made that a free feature in Lead-In as well. So now, if say they have 10 pages on their website, just keep it simple, they can put a different call to action, a different form on every website, and they don't have to touch the code of the website. They just log into this Lead-In tool and say, this is what I want my call to action to say, and these are the things this is the information I want to collect on my form. So now you're doing lead capture at a higher rate than you would if you didn't have calls to action and forms on your website. So once again, all that's free. And then we realized, okay, well, the biggest challenge that most small businesses have is actually keeping track of their sales efforts, what deals they're working. If they have more than one salesperson, what deals are those salespeople working? Where are they at? What about that old deal that we were working a year ago? Where's the information about that company? And so we launched a free CRM as well. And so in that CRM, it automatically integrates with these free tools I was talking about, the lead capture tools as well as the email tracking tools. So all those clues go right into the CRM. You can organize your contacts in there. You can auto add contacts right from your inbox. You don't have to type anything into the CRM. You auto log all your emails that you send from your inbox. It allows you to manage your deals, of course. So you can if you have different stages for deals, you can track which ones. You can track how much money you expect or forecast to collect. There's a whole other slew of other tools that aren't free but pretty cheap at $50 a month that sit on top of that make the sales team more efficient. But those tools are all tools, once again, that deliver very quick time to value with very little effort. And so we launched those free. We literally have tens of thousands of companies using them. And of course, our evil, obvious plan is that we want some of those companies to become users of our paid products. But we do have lots of companies benefiting from those free products, and it doesn't take much effort to get going.
Very nice.
That was evil. Cue evil laugh.
Very insidious plan. Give them free, help them sell more, and then sell them some more stuff to sell even more. What? That's madness. Pure madness. So yeah, that's very cool, and I'm using Lead-In, and I like it.
Cool.
It was easy to install, and right now I'm testing just a little hello bar that comes in along the top.
Nice.
So yeah, it is easy, and the CRM is free, and I've got several people getting started on that. So good stuff. So you start. So that is really what you call span the market. How'd y'all come to that realization? Because I know sometimes companies will say, I mean, it's like why, Toyota creates Lexus or Honda creates Infiniti because they don't want to blur the brand, right? Yep. So here's this upper level software platform giving stuff away for free. I mean, does that muddy the message, or have you not found that to be the case?
Probably a bit. Yeah, I think we're very clear that we're focused on the SMB market. So that doesn't mean we're focused on the S or the M. We're actually focused pretty well on both small and medium. We certainly get painted into the SMB corner, and I think some of our competitors like to push us even further down and say, oh, they're for really small businesses. Mm-hmm. But you can see in our quarterly earnings that, what our average sale price is. So, it's in that M and S market. Both right. We span them both. So our strategy is always to push both ways. We did raise, $100 million from VCs and then another $100 million, which we haven't touched, from the capital markets when we went public. So we did have the benefit of being at the right time in the right place, growing sales fast, and then being able to raise capital as a result of that growth, which then further, accelerated or helped us accelerate the growth. So I think for most businesses, it does not make sense to try to span the market, especially in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And we didn't in the beginning either. We started actually on the smaller side, moved upstream for sure. We now have, a handful of Fortune 5,000 customers and a lot of bigger companies on the M side. We compete quite well at the top end against our top end competitors like Marketo and Eloqua. So I wouldn't say that we set out to do it, but we certainly ended up doing it. We also worry about competition from the bottom, and I think that's part of our reasoning for having free products, not just to improve our own sales funnel efficiency, but because it helps us protect disruption from the bottom as well. So I think for us at this point, it's a bit of a necessity. So our vision is really to have an all-in-one marketing software that spans a large part of the market. We're pulling it off so far. And we seem to make some big investments to keep it that way and keep growing it both directions.
So is the rumor true? You're going to buy out the Sales Whisperer for like some of that $100 million just to really accelerate
we don't
growth?
Speculate on acquisition rumors.
Yeah. Okay. So we can neither confirm nor deny that. But everybody, I have bought a Sales Whisperer jet, so read into that what you will. So what's happening in the content space versus the pay-to-play space? Because I am seeing there is a lot of noise out there from native content, Snapchat, Facebook Live. I mean, anybody with a phone now thinks they're a freaking superstar, and they're making.
My 8-year-old son is going life has started a YouTube channel and play video games and record and stuff. Yep.
And so I mean,
because his idols do that, and make more money than you and I think.
So it seems like you got to pay now to really get the word out. But I'm also seeing like the best use cases or processes are maybe paying a little bit to expand your reach, but send them to really great content, and then let the natural opt-ins and nurturing occur at that point. Is that a safe assessment?
Yeah. So I'm more of on the I've always been more of a sales guy than a marketer, although I probably have legit credibility in both. But I always start at the bottom of the funnel and work up. So I think it's important to consider the importance of content for your sales team first, and then for SEO and social reasons. And hopefully SEO and social is frankly a byproduct of focusing in on what your customers and your active prospects want and need from you. And so we always suggest that you start by answering the questions that your salespeople are answering all the time. And they're probably one, giving bad answers, and two, typing it out every time they answer it. So start with the questions that your prospects ask. Start with the questions your customers ask. Create content around that. Put it out there. It'll be really helpful in your sales funnel. And if it can just help you close 1 or 2 or 1 or 2 or 5% more of your deals, like that's a big improvement. And so always start there. Write the content and get your salespeople using it. As far as breaking from the noise of the social sphere and breaking through and getting yourself on page 1 of Google, it's still very possible. It requires 2 things that it didn't say just 2 years ago. One is you have to write the best version of that content that's on the web. So like if you're writing the 15th article about XYZ widget that's on the internet, don't expect to be number 1 unless your content is better than all the other 15 articles out there. So that's the absolute most important thing to do. Number 2 is you got to promote it more than you used to. And so that is easier now than it was before, but you got to figure out how to promote it. And so promoting that through Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook are no-brainers. Some people are having luck with a lot of people are having luck, of course, with YouTube and the newer ones, Snapchat and all those and Facebook Live and all that other stuff. I am personally, just as a confession, about 2 or 3 social networks behind. I basically use LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Keeps me busy. Probably more busy on social than I should be. But getting it out there is easier than ever with all these social nets, but you do need to spend more time promoting. You can't just write it and put it out there and expect people to find it. And so that would be number 2. And I think paid is a piece of that, right? If you have a really good conversion funnel and you have really great content that people seem to like and share and all that, then putting some paid behind it makes a lot of sense. But I would not do paid until I have the best content for my topic and have some of my social channels at least validating that the content is good.
So is I'm on those same platforms. I'm probably more time on Facebook. I see, and I follow HubSpot, and I have it set as first, so I'm seeing everything y'all are producing. But I don't have a similar follow capability, I guess, on LinkedIn. So are you doing as much on LinkedIn since you mentioned it? From a
That's a good question. I'm not sure what the marketing team, we have a pretty big marketing team now, so I don't know everything that's going on. I don't know what they do on LinkedIn. I know we do some paid LinkedIn stuff. I imagine we post to LinkedIn, our company page. And I think there is a follow capability, right? You can follow companies and follow people. What I do personally is I just share the content that I produce or content that HubSpot produces or content that our partners produce or whatever. And I find that the engagement on LinkedIn, at least for me, is quite better than Twitter. I don't know why that is. I certainly have my real connections on LinkedIn, whereas I have a lot of loose connections on Twitter. And then I think there's a lot less content that gets published to LinkedIn maybe. So it's easier for people to find it or see it.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot more engagement there, I think, because you can leave comments right on it. It's a little easier to follow. So I get a lot of engagement. I don't post as much to LinkedIn because I feel like it's like I should save that for the things that I really want to put out there, like the stuff that I really put a lot of effort into. Whereas Twitter, I'm prodigious. I probably push out 10, 20 things a day.
Right. And do you do it natively in Twitter, or do you use HubSpot to push?
I use a bit of both as kind of convenience.
Right.
So yeah, HubSpot's marketing product has a tool called social inbox, social publishing. So I'll use that. And there's a bookmarklet that's nice right in Chrome. So I can, if I'm looking at reading something, I can just click share via HubSpot, and it brings up a nice little interface where I can post to multiple networks at once, or at least draft messages for multiple networks at once. But I browse Twitter, and sometimes I just do it right there too. I don't obsess about tracking everything personally.
Right. That's because you got people for that, man.
Well, I'm just talking about my personal accounts. But yeah, at HubSpot, they do track everything intensely.
Right.
Because it's someone's job to basically get engagement via social.
Well, and this may be out of your scope, but I mean, how does someone know where to publish their content? Right? I mean, if you're not getting a lot of traffic to your website, I mean, I've had people say, do one post on your own website, but then spend more time on maybe LinkedIn or your Facebook page as a note and promote that, or go to Quora and answer questions because they get more traffic. How do you balance between having your own original content on your own site versus places where you can get more eyeballs?
Got it. So I'm a big believer of putting it on your site. You'll ultimately get significantly more value having it on your site because you might rank for that page might rank, but even if it doesn't, it might get a few inbound links, which will help somewhere along the line will help you raise your page rank, which will help other pages rank. So it's almost like a snowball effect. The more content you have on your website, the bigger the result you'll get, down the line as you keep publishing. So we push people to publish on their blog. You don't get that kind of SEO value if you publish it elsewhere. After that, so I described earlier, like you gotta publish really good content. You gotta spend time promoting it. I put publishing on other sites under the promotion bucket. So just like crafting a 140 character tweet is promotion of your article, crafting a 300-word rewrite of a post you have on your website and linking to it is also falls under my promotion bucket. So I think it's really critical that people do it, especially if they don't have an audience. LinkedIn does have an audience, and chances are you have connections on LinkedIn that are going to LinkedIn and not your website. So I think it's a no-brainer to use things like LinkedIn Pulse. But usually what I do is I'll write a really long article, maybe a few thousand words, try to be as authoritative on that topic as possible, be the best article on the web on that topic. And then I'll go over to LinkedIn Pulse and I'll take some of the stuff that got edited out, or I'll write, a rewrite of it, or I'll take an excerpt and leave more of an informal comment about it. And of course, I link to the original post. And so I get some engagement on LinkedIn, but it also drives some traffic over to the site where I have a chance of converting them, getting their email address, getting them onto my email list, things like that.
Right. And HubSpot is really good about having partners create content as well as you move up in your rankings in the partner program. So would you recommend even smaller businesses, maybe without the traffic, still solicit the support of others, guest bloggers?
Absolutely.
To help them?
Yeah, I think guest blogging is still key. If you can get yourself in front of an audience and you can sneak a few links into your social profiles or content you have on your website, ideally, it's definitely worth doing. I have a newsletter that goes out to about 300 sales and marketing experts, and I solicit quotes for articles that I'm running, and that it helps me, but it also it helps the person that's giving me the quote because I link to them. And so I think I always seek out collaboration with people, and I would highly recommend that as well. We do some stuff, like I do some stuff with Jeffrey Gitomer. Obviously, he's the king of sales, written 13 books on sales. He has a good following, and he usually shares anything that I write that mentions him. We do all kinds of collaboration like that at HubSpot with people that are as famous as Gitmer and people that aren't. So it's really about, publishing out content. So we're always looking for ways to find, to get insight from others as we do that.
Yeah,
I'd encourage people to do that. I think it can be informal too. Like I know a local agency down in Virginia, and they're a member of BNI Group, Business Networking International Group, and they share stuff amongst each other, right? They share their content out locally on Facebook, and it's a big deal. It drives real referrals and leads for them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that new section, the Words of Wes, coming out on that newsletter. That's going to be powerful. That's really going to drive up your subscription rates,
Thank you. I bet it will.
It's supposed to go up, not down. I learned that from the beginning earlier, so I'm coachable.
Yeah, I can tell.
Well, man, this has been awesome. One of the last questions I like to ask my guests is, imagine our listeners are, they're on a jog, they're on a plane, on a train. They can't do anything right this second. What would you want them to do, though? What do you want to stick in their brain after listening to this? What should they go do as soon as they can take action as a result of listening to this episode, to grow their sales?
Write and publish more. I realize they can't do that exactly while they're running, but they can carry a recorder, or if they're on a plane, they can certainly open Evernote or Notepad and type something up. But I think it's important that people share their knowledge if they want to be visible, in the future, and just in general. The people buying has changed significantly. You can't interrupt your way to a sale anymore. You need to be findable. People need to find you. So the more you can publish out there so that people think of you or find you when they need you, the better off you'd be. So I think more people need to publish content, whether it's audio like this, video, or text. It just needs to get out there.
You can't interrupt your way to a sale. Come on, man. I'm still teaching cold calling, baby. Get the yellow pages. Get some guts. Just smile and dial.
Well, you can, and I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. It's significantly harder these days. And so the first thing shouldn't be buying a list and cold calling or spamming. It should be you can still buy the list if you want, but you should figure out how to connect with those people in a meaningful way online somehow.
I don't know, man. I'm from the South. I mean, spam's a delicacy. You got all A's, you could get a little bit of spam. I mean, that's how we look at it. Spam has a bad reputation, man. It's time to bring back spam. That's what I'm working on next.
All right. Just use Infusionsoft for that.
Oh, snap. Why you got to be like that? It is kind of funny, though. All right. Well, and I did hear that, HubSpot, whenever there are guests on a podcast, then The host gets free lodging at Inbound, right? So you're gonna give me that presidential suite. I don't need a presidential suite, just a vice presidential suite.
Will you be there? I don't have any authority over anything.
I'm really not a diva, but I do want
my standard answer.
I do want blue M&Ms. I do need that in my room. Okay,
blue M&Ms. We'll get you some blue M&Ms.
Okay.
So I guess we'll see you here then in November.
I'll be there. My first Inbound.
Awesome. Cool. Well, it'll be fun. Look forward to meeting you in person, Wes.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on the Sales Podcast. It's been great having you.
You're welcome. Enjoyed it.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Interesting story of growth and change. They are now over 785 employees, net income of over $40 million a year. He was the 15th employee, helped bring on the whole partner program. But it's interesting how they changed, right? They evolved from just being a simple keyword tool, with a blog. Now they were seeing people head over to WordPress once they figured things out. They started making landing pages and calls to action and all that type of tracking. Bought another company, right, and rebuilt around that to bring in the features and the capabilities that they needed. So they evolved with the times, and they keep evolving. Now they have full-blown web hosting. I host my entire website on the HubSpot platform. They call it a COS versus a CMS. But everybody's got to have their own acronyms, right? But it's basically a content management system. So it's a tool, it's a system for managing the content you create, the blog posts, the static web pages, and the landing pages. So it's cool to see what they're doing. I'm excited. Less than 2 months from now, I'll be heading out to HubSpot for Inbound. So looking forward to learning a lot, meeting some cool people. But you've got to keep evolving, right? You can't sit still. The worst thing you can do is think you made it. That's what I said at the beginning of the show. Keep looking to improve. What are you reading? What are you studying? Who are you listening to? And make sure you have less noise than actionable information, right? I'm always talking about unsubscribe from stuff. Really be careful. Filter what's coming into your brain because there's a lot of distractions out there. Before you buy another book, finish the 7 books that are sitting on your desk you never got to. Before you go to another conference, bust out the notes and apply at least one thing from the last conference you went to. Only through execution, focused execution, are you going to grow. HubSpot could not have reached 785 employees and 40 plus million in net income without execution. Gary Halbert used to always say, motion beats meditation. So get busy. All right. One thing you can get busy on is checking out the Inbound Sellers Daily newsletter. When you go to this episode, thesaleswhisperer.com/session211, you'll see all the notes, but on the right-hand side is a place to opt in for the daily email. And I have been doing that now for 50 days. I did miss one day, but I do it every morning. Put out little words of wisdom. It's actually going to form the foundation of my next book. So you're getting a little precursor, a little preview of what's going on in my brain, what I'm working on. So when you're there, take that action, sign up, but then read it, right? Read what I put out there. And another thing you can do to take action is share this episode. Right? Help me get the word out. Leave a 5-star review. It helps this bubble up. And leave comments. I get notified of the comments. I reply personally. I don't have an admin or an assistant correspond on things like that. So you get me. So if you have some recommendations, if you just have some kudos, they're greatly appreciated. So share the love, will you? Thanks for listening as always. Keep sharing it. Keep listening. Let me know you're out there. And remember to sell different.